Bodø Glimt's journey to Prague was more than a football trip. It was the story of a club from the Arctic Circle stepping onto the biggest stage in European football. For decades, Bodø Glimt lived on the fringes of Norwegian football, overshadowed by Rosenborg, Molde, and Brann. But in recent years, they had become a force of their own, playing brave, attacking football, developing talents, and carving out a reputation as a team that punches far above its weight. Now, the challenge was different. The UEFA Champions League group stage. The anthem, the lights, the pressure, the world watching, and their very first test, Slavia Prague, in the heart of the Czech capital. Inside the Eden Arena, Slavia, a club with tradition, European experience, and a reputation for being nearly unbeatable on home soil. In Bodø, days before the match, the atmosphere was something the city had never experienced. Supporters filled the streets, cafes buzzed with talk of lineups and tactics, and the players were reminded everywhere they went that they carried the pride of the town, and maybe even the pride of Norwegian football. With them, the coaching staff emphasized preparation down to the finest detail. They analyzed Slavia's pressing game, their speed on the flanks, their physical duels, but they also worked on mindset. Stay calm, they told the players. Believe in your football. This is not just a reward for last season. This is your stage now. Veteran leaders like Patrick Berg reminded the younger ones that nerves are normal, but courage is what matters. When match day came, the Bodø Glimt players emerged from the tunnel into a storm of noise. Red and white banners waved, chants echoed, and Slavia's fans roared like thunder. For Bodø, this was as hostile as it gets. But sometimes, playing as the underdog sharpens the focus. They wore their famous yellow kits, bright as the midnight sun of their hometown, symbols of a spirit that refuses to dim. The opening minutes were difficult. Slavia pressed with intensity, forcing mistakes, winning second balls, and testing Bodø's back line. Hakan, the experienced goalkeeper, was called into action early, making a sharp save to deny Slavia a lead in the 10th minute. But pressure mounted, and in the 23rd minute, it broke through. Yusufa and Boji, strong and clinical, latched onto a through ball and drove it past Hakan. 1-0. Eden Arena erupted. For Slavia, it was confirmation of their dominance. For Bodø, it was a test of resolve. Would they crumble? No. They regrouped. They slowed the tempo, passed sideways, tried to find composure. They didn't create many clear chances in the first half, but they stayed in the fight. That mattered. The halftime whistle blew with the score, 1-0. And in the dressing room, the message was simple. Stay in it. One chance, one moment, and we are back. The players believed. They had to. The second half began with Slavia again on the front foot. Their midfield dictated play. Their forwards pressed hard. And then came another blow. In the 74th minute, and Boji once again found space inside the box. With power and precision, he fired home his second of the night. 2-0. Prague exploded in celebration. For many watching, the game was over. Bodø tried to respond, and when they won a penalty minutes later, hope surged. Casper Hughes stepped up, knowing how vital it was, but his effort was saved. The chance slipped away. For a moment, it seemed like fate was against them, but Bodø Glimt are a team built on resilience. Just 4 minutes later, in the 78th minute, the ball fell to Daniel Bassi. Still only 20 years old, he carried no fear. From outside the box, he struck. The ball curled beautifully into the net. Goal. 2-1. Suddenly, belief returned. The Bodø bench roared. The players urged each other forward, and the Slavia fans grew restless. The final 10 minutes became a battle of willpower. Slavia tried to slow the game, control possession, and waste time. Bodø threw everything forward. Crosses rained into the box. Second balls were fought for like life and death. And then came the moment. 90th minute. Stoppage time, looming. The ball broke loose near the edge of the area, and there stood Sondre Brunstedfed. He took one touch, steadied himself, and unleashed a thunderbolt. The ball flew past the goalkeeper and into the top corner. 2-2. For a second, silence. Then chaos. Bodø Glimt players sprinted to the corner. Substitutes poured onto the field. Hakan ran the length of the pitch to celebrate. In the stands, Slavia fans stared in disbelief. From certain victory to heartbreak in the blink of an eye, the final whistle confirmed it. Slavia 2. Bodø Glimt 2. For Slavia, it was 2 points lost. For Bodø, it was history. Their first Champions League group stage match, their first Champions League point, earned with courage, persistence, and unshakable belief. The statistics showed Slavia had more shots, more possession, and more territory. But numbers don't always capture the spirit. Bodø had the moments that mattered. Hakan's saves Basie strike Fidi's last-minute heroics. They proved that determination can balance the scales against superior strength. As the players walked off, exhausted but proud, they knew they had written a chapter that would be remembered forever in Bodø. This was not just about football. It was about proving that even from the Arctic, where winter winds bite and darkness lingers, dreams can grow, and on nights like this, those dreams can shine as bright as any spotlight in Europe. Back in Norway, fans celebrated as though their team had won the Champions League itself. Because for them, this was more than a result. It was validation. It was pride. It was proof that their club could stand on equal ground with Europe's elite. And for the players, it was motivation. They had shown the world what Bodø Glimt are about. Not just a fairy tale, not just a surprise, but a team of fighters, of dreamers, of believers. This 2-2-2 draw in Prague was a statement. Bodø Glimt are here, and they are not going away. In football, glory isn't always about lifting trophies. Sometimes, it's about nights like these, when the underdog refuses to bow, when hope survives until the last whistle, when courage rewrites the script. Slavia vs Bodø Glimt was one of those nights, a Champions League debut that turned into a legend. Asterisk after the unforgettable night in Prague, where Bodø Glimt fought back to secure a dramatic draw against Slavia. The road ahead in the Champions League looks both daunting and inspiring. That single point earned away from home was more than just a result, it was a statement. It showed Europe that Bodø Glimt, a club from the far north of Norway, can stand toe-to-toe with historic teams on the biggest stage. But the journey has only just begun. What lies ahead for Bodø is a series of battles that will test their character, endurance, and tactical discipline. Their group features some of Europe's most formidable sides, and every match promises to be a unique challenge. The upcoming home fixtures at Espenra Stadion are already being billed as historic events for the city of Bodø. Tickets vanished almost instantly, and anticipation is building for nights that could define this team's legacy. That playing in Bodø comes with its own set of challenges for visiting teams. The Arctic conditions, harsh winds, cold nights, and the artificial turf are unlike anything most Champions League opponents are used to. Combine that with the passionate local supporters, and Espanyol becomes one of the most intimidating arenas in European football. Bodø Glimt have built a reputation as giant killers here before, and now the Champions League gives them a chance to do it again on an even bigger stage. The tactical blueprint remains clear. Disciplined defending, rapid transitions, and relentless attacking play from the wings. The comeback against Slavia proved that the team has the mentality to fight until the very last whistle. Key figures like Patrick Berg, the captain and midfield anchor, will need to keep dictating the rhythm of the game. Rune Espegard, with his ability to hold up play and deliver clinical finishes, will be vital in breaking through against elite defenses. And rising stars like Daniel Bassi, fearless and inventive, could become unexpected heroes in the upcoming clashes. Away games, however, will push Bodø Glimt to their limits. The atmosphere in some of Europe's most iconic stadiums will be fierce, the quality of opposition higher than anything they face domestically, and the margin for error almost non-existent. Yet this is not uncharted territory for Bodø. Just a few years ago, they stunned the continent with famous victories over Roma, Celtic, and AZ Alkmaar. Those triumphs are part of the club's DNA now, and they serve as a reminder that no opponent is untouchable. In terms of expectations, Bodø Glimt's goals are realistic but ambitious. Finishing in the top two of the group to secure a place in the knockout rounds would be an extraordinary achievement, something no Norwegian club has done in the modern era. However, even claiming third place and dropping into the UEFA Europa League would be considered a success. It would extend their European journey, bring valuable experience, and keep the dream alive of going toe-to-toe with the Giants. Every match from this point forward will be a story in itself, moments of tension, flashes of brilliance, and, above all, the unwavering spirit that defines this team. For Bodø Glimt, the Champions League is not just about results. It's about showing the world that football from the Arctic can belong on the grandest stage.